In 1968, the Associated Press sent a wire across America. The kid who played Beaver Cleaver had been killed in Vietnam. His own TV brother sent funeral flowers to his parents' house. Except it wasn't true. And in 2026, the Beaver is still with us. That story is coming at number 1. But first, tell me honestly, who were you sitting next to on that living room floor when the Leave It to Beaver theme song came on? Was it your mom, your big brother, your dad behind his newspaper? Drop that memory in the comments. I read every single one. Let's go back to Mayfield. Number 8. Ken Osmond. Eddie Haskell.
Good morning, Mrs. Cleaver. That's a lovely dress you're wearing today.
You just heard his voice in your head, didn't you? Kenneth Charles Osmond was 14 when he walked into a cattle call audition in 1957. Eddie Haskell was supposed to be a one-episode guest spot, one and done. But Ken played that two-faced, smooth-talking, parent-flattering, kid-tormenting teenager so perfectly that the producers kept him for all 6 seasons. 97 episodes. And the name Eddie Haskell became an actual term in the American vocabulary. Look it up. It means a phony who kisses up to authority. That's the kind of character this man built from scratch. Then, the kid everyone loved to hate on TV. Now, here's where Eddie Haskell's story goes somewhere no Hollywood writer could ever make up. When the show ended, Ken was completely typecast. Nobody could see past Eddie. So in 1970, he did something nobody expected. He joined the LAPD, grew a mustache, became a motorcycle cop, a real one. And then came September 20th, 1980. Ken was chasing a suspected car thief on foot. The suspect turned and fired 3 times. 2 bullets stopped by his vest. The third ricocheted off his belt buckle. His belt buckle saved his life. Now, because it's Eddie Haskell, the story can't just be dramatic. It also has to be ridiculous. In the 70s, a wild urban legend swept across America claiming Ken Osmond had become an adult film star. A theater in Los Angeles actually put Eddie Haskell of TV up on its marquee to sell tickets. Ken, a working LAPD officer at the time, had to walk into that theater himself and ask them to take it down. You can't write this stuff. In 1983, Ken came home, back to Eddie Haskell, for the reunion movie Still the Beaver and the revival series The New Leave It to Beaver, running from 84 to 89. And in a beautiful touch, his 2 real-life sons, Eric and Christian, played Eddie's sons on the show. Kenneth Charles Osmond left us on May 18, 2020, at the age of 76. Jerry Mathers wrote, "Ken was the best actor on our show because in real life, his personality was the complete opposite of the character he so brilliantly portrayed." Number 7. Frank Bank. Clarence Lumpy Rutherford. All right, I want to flip the script on you here. Forget what Lumpy looked like on your TV screen for a second. Forget the clumsy bully, the kid who wasn't quite as sharp as everyone else. Because what Frank Bank was doing when the cameras weren't rolling, that's the real story. While the other kids on set were playing catch between takes, 15-year-old Frank was sitting in a corner reading the Wall Street Journal, teaching himself about municipal bonds, tax-free securities. At 15, on a television set. Then Lumpy Rutherford, the lovable oaf of Mayfield, 50 episodes from 1958 through the series finale, and then 101 more in the 80s revival. Now, well, there is no now for Frank, and we'll honor him properly later. But what he did between then and the end is worth every second of your attention. When Hollywood couldn't see past Lumpy, Frank didn't wait around. In 1973, he became a licensed bond broker in Los Angeles. Within 3 years, he was earning a 6-figure income, more than he ever made in front of a camera. Barbara Billingsley, June Cleaver herself, once said, "He's certainly brighter than Lumpy Rutherford and a very good stockbroker." In 1997, he published his autobiography, Call Me Lumpy. Honest, raw, completely frank, just like the man. Frank Bank left us on April 13, 2013, one day after his 71st birthday. Lumpy may not have been the sharpest kid in Mayfield, but Frank Bank, he just might have been the smartest person on that entire set. Coming up, Lumpy's pompous dad had a secret talent that sold over 1 million copies. Beaver's best buddy vanished so completely that his own wife didn't know he'd been a TV star, and the mother whose famous pearls were hiding something the cameras were never supposed to see. Plus, the Beaver himself. All ahead. Don't go anywhere. Number 6. Richard Deacon. Fred Rutherford. Ward, old man! If you just pictured a tall, bald, bespectacled man barging through the Cleaver's front door to complain about something Wally or Beaver did to his boy Clarence, congratulations, your memory is perfect. Richard Lewis Deacon played Fred Rutherford, Lumpy's pompous, self-aggrandizing father and Ward's long-suffering co-worker. The man who publicly bragged about his boy Clarence and privately called him a big boob. Fred appeared in 23 episodes across the 6 seasons, with his first appearance in Season 1. But here's something a lot of fans don't realize. Starting in the later seasons, particularly Season 5, Deacon began pulling double duty. He was simultaneously filming another little show called The Dick Van Dyke Show, playing Mel Cooley, the perpetually tormented producer. 2 iconic roles, 2 legendary sitcoms, running at the same time. And then there was his other life, the one that had nothing to do with acting. Richard Deacon was a gourmet chef, not a hobbyist, a real, serious cook. He wrote a cookbook on microwave cooking that sold over 1 million copies and hosted his own cooking show on Canadian television. He was also a classmate of Rod Serling, the creator of The Twilight Zone, back at Binghamton Central High School in upstate New York. 2 kids from the same hallway. One went on to explore the outer limits of human imagination. The other became the funniest stuffed shirt on American television. In 1983, Deacon returned one last time as Fred Rutherford in the reunion movie Still the Beaver. He was already written into scripts for the new revival series. But on August 8, 1984, Richard Lewis Deacon suffered a heart attack at his home in Beverly Hills. He was 62 years old. The role of Fred Rutherford had to be recast because the man who made it unforgettable was gone. Number 5. Rusty Stevens. Larry Mondello. Now, let me tell you a story that sounds like it belongs in a movie. Sometime in the early 1980s, a private detective knocked on the door of a quiet house in New Jersey. A woman answered. The detective asked if this was the home of the former child star from Leave It to Beaver. The woman, Rusty's wife, Teresa, looked at him and said he must have the wrong house. She didn't know. Her own husband had never told her he'd been a TV star. That's how completely Robert Rusty Stevens had walked away from Hollywood. Let me take you back. Rusty was a kid from Boston, selling newspapers on a street corner, when a talent scout named Lola Moore spotted him. He'd never acted before, not even in a school play, but he had something. And at 8 years old, he became Larry Mondello, Beaver's pudgy, apple-munching best friend, who always dragged the Beav into trouble and then vanished with a, "Gotta go home now, Beaver." He appeared in 67 episodes across the first 3 seasons and was the only actor outside the main cast to be given a contract. But Rusty was a kid who missed being a kid. As Larry Mondello got more popular, Rusty spent more time at the studio and less time living a normal life. He recently shared on the Leave It to Beaver fan club page that the real reason he left wasn't because his family moved. That was the old rumor. The truth was simpler. He wanted to go to a real school, play with real friends, be a regular boy. And that's exactly what he did. He left the show, finished school, served his country, settled down in a quiet township back east, became an insurance salesman, built a life so far from the spotlight that even his own wife didn't know about the kid on Channel 5. Now, 2026. Robert Rusty Stevens is 77 years old. He's living peacefully with his wife, far from Hollywood, far from the cameras. He and Jerry Mathers have stayed in touch, two of the few original child cast members still with us. Every now and then, he pops up on the fan club Facebook page to share a memory or two. Quiet, humble, content. The kid who walked away from fame and never once looked back with regret. Seeing these faces again, Eddie's smirk, Lumpy's big grin, Larry munching on that apple, it brings back something, doesn't it? So let me ask, how many of you secretly had a crush on Wally Cleaver, or thought Eddie Haskell was kind of cool, even though you knew you shouldn't? Don't be shy. Confess in the comments. I won't tell Mrs. Cleaver. We are now down to the final four, and they are the Cleaver family themselves. The big brother who became a sculptor and a director, the father who was secretly an ordained minister, the mother who walked away from Hollywood for 17 years and came back with two words that changed everything. And the Beaver, the boy America thought they'd lost forever. All coming up next. Number 4. Tony Dow. Wally Cleaver. Before he ever stepped in front of a camera, Tony Dow was a junior Olympics diving champion. He showed up to an open casting call in 1957 with almost no acting experience and walked out with the role of Wally Cleaver, America's big brother. He was 12 years old. 234 episodes, 6 seasons, from a boy to a young man, right there on your screen. As the show went on, Tony grew into a genuine teen heartthrob. Fan magazines couldn't get enough of him, and the writers started building entire episodes around Wally's dating life, his after-school jobs, his car. But through it all, Wally stayed what he always was: decent, protective, the kind of older brother every kid wished they had. What a lot of people don't know is what Tony Dow became after the cameras stopped. He served in the California Army National Guard from 65 to 68, assigned to the Special Services Division of the 40th Armored Division. As a military photographer, when he came home, he didn't just go back to acting, he reinvented himself completely. He became a director, and not on small projects. Episodes of Babylon 5, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Coach, Harry and the Hendersons. He worked as visual effects supervisor on Babylon 5. He produced the TV movie Doctor Who in 1996. And here's the part that surprises everyone. He was a sculptor. Abstract bronze figures. Serious work. He once said, "The figures are not meant to represent reality, but rather the truth of the interactions as I see and feel them." That's not Wally Cleaver talking. That's an artist. Of course, he came home to Wally one more time. The reunion movie Still the Beaver in '83, and then 101 episodes of the new Leave It to Beaver, where he also wrote and directed. He and Jerry Mathers even toured the country together in stage comedies in the late 70s, Boeing, Boeing, and So Long Stanley, playing to standing room-only crowds for 18 months. Anthony Lee Dow. Born April 13, 1945, the all-American big brother, the quiet artist behind the famous face. Number 3. Hugh Beaumont. Ward Cleaver. There's a reason Ward Cleaver felt different from every other TV dad. It's because the man playing him wasn't just an actor. Eugene Hugh Beaumont held a Master of Theology degree from the University of Southern California, earned in 1946. He was an ordained Methodist minister who preached sermons on Sundays and played Ward Cleaver during the week. He once said, "Sometimes my work as an actor presents a conflict with my ideals as a clergyman. No money I can earn as an actor can accomplish so much good that I would feel justified in violating my ideals to earn it." Before he was Ward, Beaumont had appeared in 86 films, including 5 as hard-boiled private detective Michael Shane in the mid-40s, a cigarette-smoking, whiskey-drinking tough guy. Jerry Mathers later said, "He was much more comfortable as Ward Cleaver because it fit his real-life personality so much better." He also wrote and directed several episodes of Leave It to Beaver, including the very last one, Family Scrapbook. After the show ended, Hugh Beaumont did something beautifully simple. He retired to northern Minnesota, bought an island called Balgillo Island on Lake Wabana, and became a Christmas tree farmer. The man who told Beaver and Wally how to be good men spent his final years growing trees and living by the faith he'd preached his whole life. In 1972, he suffered a stroke. Doctors told him he would never walk or talk again. He proved them wrong. He recovered enough to do some community theater and directing work. Eugene Hugh Beaumont, born February 16, 1909, the father who meant every word he ever said, on screen and off. Number 2. Barbara Billingsley. June Cleaver. I promised you a secret about those pearls. Here it is. Barbara Billingsley, born Barbara Lillian Coombs, had a surgical scar on her neck. She called it a hollow. Before the first episode even aired, she decided on her own to wear a strand of white pearls to conceal it from the cameras. No one asked her to. No wardrobe department suggested it. That one small, private decision became one of the most iconic images in the history of American television. June Cleaver, vacuuming in heels and pearls, a symbol of an entire era. And it started with a woman quietly solving her own problem. She almost never played June at all. Her second husband, British director Roy Colino, passed away suddenly, just months before the role was offered. She was deep in mourning. But producers Joe Connolly and Bob Mosier remembered her from an earlier audition, called her back, and the rest is history. 234 episodes, 6 seasons, the definitive American TV mother. And then, 17 years of near-total silence. Barbara Billingsley all but vanished from public life, traveled the world, stayed out of the spotlight, until 1980, when a little comedy called Airplane changed everything. You remember the scene. 2 passengers speaking jive, the flight attendants helpless. And then, this elegant, perfectly composed woman leans forward and says, "Excuse me, I speak jive." 2 words and a deadpan delivery. That's all it took. Barbara herself said, "No chance they would have cast me if I hadn't been June Cleaver." The role gave her what she called as much publicity as Beaver. She came back to June Cleaver for the reunion movie Still the Beaver in '83, this time as a widow, since Hugh Beaumont had passed the year before. She stayed for all 4 seasons of the new Leave It to Beaver. And there's one more thing many fans don't know. From 1984 to '91, she voiced Nanny in the animated series Muppet Babies. A whole generation of children loved her voice without ever knowing it belonged to June Cleaver. Barbara Lillian Billingsley, born December 22, 1915, America's mother, and a woman whose quiet grace touched more lives than she ever imagined. Number 1. Jerry Mathers. Theodore Beaver Cleaver. This is it, the one you've been waiting for. Gerald Patrick Mathers was born on June 2, 1948, in Sioux City, Iowa. His father was a high school principal. The family moved to the San Fernando Valley in California when Jerry was 2. His career started almost by accident. His mother took him shopping, A department store representative spotted him, and suddenly the toddler was modeling for Christmas catalogs. By the time he was 6, he was acting in movies, including Alfred Hitchcock's 1955 film The Trouble with Harry, alongside Shirley MacLaine in her very first film role. But the moment that changed everything happened at an audition in 1957. Little Jerry showed up wearing his Cub Scout uniform, not because anyone told him to, but because he had a den meeting right after and was in a hurry. When the producers asked him about it, he told them straight. He'd rather be at his scout meeting than at this audition. That was it. That honesty. That perfectly natural, unactorly kid energy. Producers Joe Connolly and Bob Mosier knew instantly this was their Beaver. 234 episodes, 6 seasons, shown in over 80 countries in 40 languages. In Japan, the show was called The Happy Boy and His Family. Jerry once said, "I can go anywhere in the world and people know me. In Japan, people come up at the airport and say, 'Hi, happy boy.'" Now, the story I promised you at the very beginning. When the show ended in '63, Jerry did what any teenager would do. He went to high school. He formed a band called Beaver and the Trappers, and before graduating, he joined the United States Air National Guard, the 146th Airlift Wing in Van Nuys, California. In October 1968, a sergeant named Stephen Mathers was killed in action in Vietnam. The wire services picked up the name, and someone, somewhere, connected it to J. Mathers from Leave It to Beaver. The story went out across America. Beaver Cleaver was dead. Jerry was at college, California Lutheran University, in the San Fernando Valley, when his roommate shook him awake one morning holding a newspaper. "Do you know you're dead?" Tony Dow, his TV brother, the same kid he'd grown up with on screen for 6 years, sent funeral flowers to his parents' house. Because even Wally believed it. But Jerry Mathers was very much alive. He finished his military service. He went into real estate and was so good at it that he became a $1 million salesperson in Los Angeles. He even ran a catering company called Cleaver's Catering. In '83, he came home, still the Beaver. The reunion movie was a top 10 hit that week. It launched 101 episodes of the new Leave It to Beaver, where Jerry not only starred, but directed. In 2007, at 59 years old, he made his Broadway debut as Wilbur Turnblad in the musical Hairspray at the Neil Simon Theater, and in his first week boosted attendance from 75% to 90%.
Standing room only from then on. Now, 2026. Gerald Patrick Mathers is 77 years old. He turns 78 on June 2nd. He lives in Santa Clarita, California, with his wife, Teresa, whom he married in 2011. He is a passionate advocate for diabetes awareness. Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in the mid-90s, he changed his lifestyle, lost 55 pounds, and has spent decades educating others about early diagnosis and healthy living. He is the last surviving member of the Cleaver family. Hugh Beaumont, gone. Barbara Billingsley, gone. Tony Dow, gone. But the Beaver is still here, still doing appearances, still meeting fans, still signing autographs with a smile that hasn't changed in almost 70 years. The boy America once mourned is still very much alive. Before we go, we want to take a quiet moment to honor the members of this beautiful cast who are no longer with us. They gave us something rare, a family that felt real in a world that felt safe. And though they've moved on, what they created together will never fade. Hugh Beaumont, Ward Cleaver. He was our father figure, the man with the right words at the right time. An ordained minister, a writer, a director, a Christmas tree farmer on his own island. His final chapter came on May 14, 1982, in Munich, Germany. While visiting his son, he was 72. His ashes were returned to that island, Balgillo, on Lake Wabana, Minnesota. The reunion movie, Still the Beaver, was dedicated to his memory. Barbara Billingsley, June Cleaver, America's mother, the woman who chose a strand of pearls to hide a scar and accidentally created an icon. Her final chapter came on October 16, 2010, at her home in Santa Monica, California. She was 94. Tony Dow, Wally Cleaver, the Big Brother, the diving champion who became an actor, a director, and a sculptor, the man who proved there was always more beneath the surface. His final chapter came on July 27, 2022, at his home in Topanga, California. He was 77. Ken Osmond, Eddie Haskell, one of the most iconic two-faced teenage characters in television history, played by one of the kindest men in real life, a decorated LAPD officer who took 3 bullets and survived. His final chapter came on May 18, 2020, in Los Angeles. He was 76. Frank Bank, Clarence Lumpy Rutherford, the lovable oaf on screen, the Wall Street mastermind off-screen. His final chapter came on April 13, 2013, one day after his 71st birthday. Richard Deacon, Fred Rutherford, the man who played 2 of the funniest stuffed shirts in television history on 2 different shows at the same time, a gourmet chef, a gentle soul. His final chapter came on August 8, 1984, in Beverly Hills. He was 62. 6 seats at the table, 6 voices that made Mayfield feel like home. We carry them with us. Time moves so incredibly fast. But these beautiful memories, they don't go anywhere. They stay right where you left them. Which of these transformations surprised you the most today? Was it Ken Osmond going from Eddie Haskell to a real-life police officer? Frank Bank reading the Wall Street Journal at 15? Or finding out that the Beaver's famous pearls-wearing mother came up with that idea all by herself just to hide a scar? And let me ask you one more thing. If you could go back, just for one evening, to sit on that old sofa next to someone you love, with the TV glowing in the corner and the Leave It to Beaver theme song filling the room, what would you give for that? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Thank you for watching, thank you for remembering, and thank you for keeping Mayfield alive.